Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesome, the podcast devoted to spirituality and self-improvement. I am so excited you guys are here with us today because we have a very special guest. Today we have with us Miss Ashana. She is a musician, a crystal bowl artist, and a best-selling author. In her new groundbreaking book, The Crystal Singing Bowls, she talks about the technical guidance and how to play the singing bowls, but also she shares personal stories and the powerful impact of sound and how it helps people to heal. Today, she's going to be talking to us about what the crystal singing bowls are and how she uses them. And I'm very excited to have her here because I love music and I think it's such a healing modality. So thank you, Ashana, so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. Thank you for having me. Super excited to be with you.
Yes, I'm so excited to be with you too. And we were just talking before we got started that we are very sad that some of you cannot see this video interview because Ashana is surrounded by the most beautiful multicolored singing bowls. It almost looks like you're in an art studio. It's just so beautiful. Now, my patrons out there, you guys get to see what I'm talking about. If you guys want to see what we're talking about, join a free trial of patrons so you can see all of your beautiful singing bowls. And you said I can't even see how many you have
You
there.
can't
That's so
see them.
amazing.
I know. There are 105 of them in this room alone. So yes, I say they're like potato chips, and you just can't have one, or they propagate when I'm sleeping. So I wake up the next morning and there's another one. So.
That is so amazing. That must have taken so much time for you to collect them and work with them. And I can't even imagine because I own like one instrument, a piano,
Yeah.
and that's it. So, and I don't even play that well, but
Well, I have a piano too sitting right in front of me right now. It's a big Roland stage piano keyboard, and I have seven therapy harps against the wall, which you cannot
oh
see.
wow,
So this
wow.
is my music room that we're in right now, actually. So
That's
music room,
amazing.
little bit recording studio, and all kinds of beautiful bowls. And yes, it has taken me many, many years. I've been playing crystal singing bowls for almost 25 years. And the fun story about this is that the very first bowl. Can I tell you the story about the first bowl that showed
You
up
did
in my
not. So I'd love to
life?
hear about it.
Okay, so what happened was is that I'm a classically trained singer. I went to conservatory in New York City and did the whole music scene. I mean, did you ever see Mozart in the Jungle? Did you see
I
that
didn't.
television
No, I
show?
didn't
Oh,
see
it's an
that.
amazing show. You should absolutely check it out. I think it's on Amazon. Anyway, I lived Mozart in the Jungle in my days of singing classical music in New York City. And I eventually moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I lived for 17 years. And one day I got a phone call from a mentor of mine, and she said, "Have you ever heard of a crystal singing bowl?" And I said, "No. What is that?" And she goes, "This is right up your alley." So I mean, it's literally sight unseen, in perfect trust. I went boom, and I just got the bowl. I ordered it. It came in this gigantic box. And 3 weeks later, I stuck it on my kitchen floor in the kitchen. I opened up the box. There was like a bazillion peanuts came out of this box. And there was another box. It was like doing Russian dolls. So I open up the second box and a bazillion peanuts come out of this. And I pull out this big 14-inch, was about, you can't, podcast people, you can't see, but my arms are big and round. So big 14-inch bowl, and I set it on the table with a little O-ring. And I picked up a mallet that looks kind of like this, and I tapped the side of the bowl, and it chimed, and then instantly I broke down sobbing. I started crying. It was uncontrollable tears. And the first thought that I had was that light had come to live in my house. And the second thought I had was that one day I'm going to put this into music. And they were like that and like that. 3 weeks later, I had seven. And now I have 105. And the kind that I used to play, which are called the classic frosted bowls, I hardly even have anymore, because these are the next generation of crystal singing bowls, and they are what we call the alchemy bowls. These alchemy bowls and also super grade bowls. And these are bowls that are infused and overlaid with precious gemstones, minerals, and metals. And they create the most spectacular, high vibrational, angelic, celestial, sometimes cosmic sound that takes people into places of rest and peace and tranquility. That is, it actually, it can't be described with words. It has to be experienced. And so I eventually, in 2005, I made my first album, which was called All Is Forgiven. And it has sold literally millions of copies and streams all over the world to this day. And then followed up by an album called Jewels of Silence, and then several other albums after that. And we're just getting ready to release in August, dropping my first music, which is coming out, called Celestial Alignment for Healing. It's like a whole brand new project. So it's just been this amazing journey of, I like to call it the divine breadcrumbs. Do you know what that's like? When you just kind of step forward, you see as much as it's in front of you, and you go, yes, I'll do that. And then it opens up into the next thing.
Yeah, and it sounds like it just started with you, your curiosity, and like following your passion. And I think it's so fascinating because I'm seeing the singing bowls you have behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm sure there are a lot of people out there like me who are just used to seeing the traditional
Yeah.
singing bowls, and I've never seen the ones like the ones that are behind you, and they are just absolutely gorgeous.
Aren't they amazing? I mean, here's just one, right? I mean, look at this. This is called
Such,
an
yeah, for those of you listening, it's this beautiful blue color, and it's got different shades of blue in it. And I've never seen a singing bowl like that.
Yeah, they're incredible. These are the alchemy, the master alchemy, the super grade bowls that are made by Crystal Tones. And here's another one. I mean, this is just gorgeous. We call this a
Is they
coffee
have
pot.
a sheen to them, like a
Yes. This is the platinum sheen that you see on it, which creates an iridescent quality all over the bowl. And this is the gemstone azestulite that's been applied to this bowl. And the base of the bowl is what we call a grandmother, and that is made from iron. So it's pure quartz crystal that has been infused with iron and platinum and overlaid with azestulite. So, and of course, I have to do this because I can't just pick up a ball in my hand and not play it. I mean, that's crazy. So here's just a little tap. That was a bit hard. I think I want to do that again because I got overexcited.
this beautiful sound.
And can you hear all these amazing, you hear the really high note that comes out of it? Those are called harmonics. And those are the notes that are present inside a note that we can't always hear. And every crystal singing bowl has like an amazing array of harmonics that are in it. If we all had like super dog hearing, we could hear note after note after note. If I were to tap, here's another bowl. Like, we'll play this one. If I were to tap this bowl, there's this note and this note that's in there, and then there's a note up here. I'm hearing all of that just when I tap that bowl. And it's the harmonics. I believe it was Hazrat Inayat Khan, or it was Pir Vilayat Khan, who said that our enlightenment is inside the harmonics. So the gateway to enlightenment is through harmonics. and being able to hear those frequencies and experience, not necessarily hear, I misspoke, really experience the frequencies of light and consciousness that are ever present, but we, due to our circumstances, our humanity, our conditioning, we cannot yet vibrate and be in resonance with those frequencies. So it is the opening of ourselves to our souls, to our higher self, to our higher purpose, so that we can awaken and enliven those frequencies within us. And the beauty of alchemy crystal singing bowls is that they help us literally entrain to those high vibrational frequencies. And it doesn't matter where you are in your personal growth and development. It is such a simple, gentle, kind, and loving way to begin to receive and experience what it is like to be at peace, to feel that underlying oneness that is in all of creation. And the bowls are a portal, they're a doorway into helping us discover that for ourselves.
I think like when I listen to that, I know I just feel so, like you said, at peace and relaxed. And it's just such a, for me, pleasant thing to do, to just sit and listen. And I've had healing done before where they use sound in the session,
Mm-hmm.
and it just takes it to a whole nother level.
It
It's
does.
hard to explain, but it really does, I think, amplify that healing process when you have the sound healing along with the energy healing working together.
Well, I love that you use the word amplify, because it's actually really important, and it talks a lot. It speaks to what the bowls, especially crystal singing bowls, do in terms of complementary medicine for our personal healing process. Because the basis of pure quartz crystal, their natural attributes are, number one, to amplify energy. Okay? They amplify energy, they transmit energy, they store, contain energy, they absorb energy, and they also transduce or transform energy. So think about that, and just consider the person who is in the healing, who is the healer, who is the facilitator of healing. And let's just say she's working with a bowl like this. Well, here's another one of my, most beloved bowls. This is a platinum bowl. And let's just say that her intentions for the person she's working with are for healing to the cellular level on the physical, and healing on all levels in mental, spiritual, and emotional levels. Or let's just say she can become even more specific with that healing. Okay? She may not be doing a generalized healing session. She may be a practitioner who is perhaps an acupuncturist, perhaps a naturopathic doctor, perhaps uh, a functional medicine person, perhaps a holistic RN, perhaps she's doing Reiki and working with specific illness for someone, or a condition for someone. And she is holding inside of herself while she is playing, not only while she was doing her treatment, other treatment protocol, but she's actually working with the bowls, and she's focusing that intention to amplify the healing, to help transmit those healing frequencies, and to support that person in transforming their energy. And so she may tap a bowl, she may go around the rim of the bowl, she may place the bowl on the body, she may be playing the bowls nearby, she may be playing several bowls. We hear these frequencies. We hear them played around us. And inside this experience, these energies now are taking on a whole other level. And it is through the intention of the practitioner. Because, oftentimes, especially when people are first coming to the bowls, they look at them and they go, oh my goodness, it's the bowl, it's the bowl, it's the bowl, it's the bowl. But I tell all my students that I work with that when you place the person with the bowl, then you have a new alchemy. You have the alchemy of the bowl and the practitioner of sound. And when I say a practitioner of a sound, anybody can be their own personal practitioner of sound. The bowls are so simple to play on a fundamental level that anybody can be taught to play these instruments for themselves. Okay? I love this, that Dr. Mitchell Gaynor, he was the chief oncologist at New York Hospital. And every patient that came to him, if they were open to it and willing and receptive, he put a crystal singing bowl in their hand on their first appointment with him. And he basically sent them home to play with a particular protocol for playing, so that they began to play the bowl and also to learn how to use their voice and vocalization with their singing bowl. And it shifted. It had a dramatic impact on those patients, on their health, on their healing, on their emotional and mental well-being for the whole process that he was working with them through their cancer protocols. And many of my students work with cancer patients in different environments, bringing this sound directly to people who can benefit from it at a time in their lives when it is so challenging to find and stabilize in a sense of peace and well-being. When you're in a place where you may be feeling very frightened, you may be feeling uncertain as to what your next steps are. That alone, by having experiences like that, be able to turn to recordings of music, or just be able to go to a sound healing practitioner or a sound bath in your local area, can make a tremendous difference. Because when in times of stress, acute stress and anxiety, we must have, it's critical to have places where we can go to in our lives where we can literally ratchet down the anxiety and the noise and come to a place of calmness and repose. And we can't always do that with, a simple mindfulness meditation. We can't somebody say, oh, just follow your breath. And if you're just supercharged, following your breath sometimes can feel like an agony. But when we introduce the vibration of sound into it, we literally the cells in our bodies begin to entrain to a new frequency through the presence of the vibration itself. And it gives us the support we need to bring ourselves into a new perspective, to take us out of the conditioned mind and move into an expanded state of awareness.
That's so fascinating that the sound healing does that for the cancer patients. But I love that doctor incorporated that. I wish more physicians would incorporate the natural healing
Yeah.
qualities, whether it's the crystals or the sound healing. I really love that that doctor has done that. And I think that you hit on everything because we're so fear-based in everything we
I
do in
know.
our lives.
Mm.
And if that sound healing is able to take away the anxiety, the worry, the stress, that's half the battle right there.
Mm-hmm. It's right. It is.
That is so interesting. And I think that's such a great idea. I was just thinking about people sitting out there. You said it's so easy to learn how to play. And isn't that part of what you've done in your latest book is to show people the techniques of how to play these singing bowls?
Yeah, the books, it was so funny because the book started out as a really simple primer guide. I was just going to write a little bit of an ebook and put a couple of videos in it and make it available to people. And then of course, it took on a life of its own, and it turned into this whole thing, which is really so much about tuning into the spirit of the bowls and the spirit of healing through sound. And yes, as part of this, the whole book, there are chapters on, the basics of how to play, and there are companion videos that you can access inside the book, that will take you to experiences of listening to the bowls, experiences of watching me teach you how to play them in a very, very simple way, just to get started. Just think of it like Crystal Singing Bowls 101 AAA. Okay, that's kind of what the book does, and it gives you an incredible introduction into these instruments on so many levels.
I love that. I love that you're making it accessible to people who maybe don't know anything about singing bowls or their qualities. And the bowls that you were using there, you said the ones that were infused with crystals.
Hmm.
Do you find that those are more powerful than, let's say, the traditional singing bowls that you started with?
Well, that's a that's a really interesting question. Um, wow, that's a really interesting question because it's they're very different. It's kind of like comparing an apple to an orange. It really is. Even though, this is a crystal singing bowl, right? And if I had a big white one in front of me, that would be a crystal singing bowl too. But they're really different. The alchemy bowls and the master alchemy bowls have a phenomenal array, as I spoke about before, of these harmonics present in the sound. And again, as I said before, it's the accessing and the entrainment to those harmonics that really allow us to move into these incredible spaces. And I'm not saying that the classic frosted bowls don't have that. They do. They have benefits in a way that the alchemies don't, because they're so big and they're so heavy. For the most part, they have actually a bigger waveform. So people that sometimes for particular kinds of people, the big waveforms of the classic frosted bowls um, actually serve them better. They also do really phenomenal work outdoors, when you can bring like a big 24-inch bowl. And yes, it's a 24-inch bowl. Imagine that. Now, for all those of you that are on the podcast, my arms are even bigger. Okay, so there's a big 24-inch bowl, and I can actually sit in one, and I've done that.
Wow.
So I sat in one and held my feet out and had somebody play the bowl while I was inside of it. It was really amazing. It just went all over my body, into my bones. Um, so those bowls do something that the alchemy bowls don't quite do. And then we have the super grade bowls, which is like crystal singing bowls and on complete steroids. That's 100% pure quartz crystal, and we can get sounds out of those bowls that are um, supersonic. They are beyond the beyond. I have a couple of them. You can probably see them in the background there, and they're these deep, deep lower resonant octaves that are just incredible. When you can play bowls like that and give people the experience of a sound like that, it brings you so deep into the body and into a connection with the earth. And then, of course, with the sounds of the alchemy bowls, you can feel yourself as a multidimensional being. So I'm not saying that the classics don't do that, but they have a different experience.
Sure.
So, the classic frosted bowls were our first crystal singing bowls. And, I had incredible experiences with them when I when I played them. And I played them for a number of years before I was introduced to alchemies. So, it's just depends. And sometimes with classic frosted bowls, because that waveform is so big, the sound of the bowls can be too much for a person's hearing. Uh, and I have had that experience many years ago, until I learned to really develop and fine tune my own playing. But with the alchemies, very rarely, if ever, have I had anybody just go, "Oh no, that bowl hurts too much." Okay, but sometimes with the classics that can happen because it's just a big waveform. It's going woo, 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 and these don't do that.
Now, you said that when you were playing the alchemy bowls, like you feel more of the frequencies and you feel. So, my question is going to be, is this a good tool for maybe someone to use who's looking to maybe open their third eye and connect more to their own, um, let's say, abilities, whether they're a healer or just their own intuition, maybe is what I'm.
Absolutely, hands down. I can't think of anything better. I have so many of my students in my Crystal Ball Mastery program that come to me that are intuitives, energy healers, empaths, spiritual mediums, and people channel. Uh, what else? And all different kinds of healing modalities, naturopathic doctors. But then there's all the rest of the people that come that ask for just what you're asking for. They say, I really want to open up my intuition. I want to connect with my soul. I want to have a deeper experience of myself as a spiritual being. And the moment they hear the sound of these bowls, it's like an instantaneous, it takes them there. Or so many of them will come to me, particularly because they've heard that in my music. They've been listening to my music for a long, long time, and they will say, every time I listen to this is what happens. And that music came out of that my own personal connection to the calling from my own soul. It was literally instantaneous.
Wow. So, on that same note, is this a useful tool for maybe people who are trying to manifest different things in areas of their lives and maybe they're finding that they just feel stuck? Does this help to kind of like move that energy? And because I know we talk about, if you believe in the law of attraction and manifesting, that it's all about being in a higher energetic frequency. So I would assume that listening to these singing bowls or playing them yourselves would help uh, to raise that vibrational frequency.
Well, yeah, and it's it's a little bit tiny little bit like a Pandora's box because, you know, you have to be careful what you ask for,
Yeah.
right? And yes, so the simple answer to your question is, of course, yes. That is absolutely, it is an incredibly beneficial tool. I don't call them tools because they feel like consciousness to me. So it's an incredibly beneficial modality, let's just say, to support that in that growing, that awareness, that ability to manifest on a deeper level. At the same time, it's not the only tool one, uh, uh, in my opinion, should be working with.
Yeah.
Sound healing, especially with crystal singing bowls, but all different kinds of sound healing. What happens is uh, the sound itself will literally begin to break apart those strongly developed beliefs and thought forms that are held in the conditioned mind. Mantra does that. Drumming will do that. Didgeridoo playing will do that. Crystal bowls for sure will do that. I can speak to it from 25 years of playing, and how playing and hearing the sound will literally just be almost like a little ice pick in there, just breaking things up. And what happens in my experience is that when we break those things up, it will come up as emotion, looking at things, having to see what maybe you didn't want to see. That was under there. So let's just say, for example, it's just hypothetical. You really want to manifest that new relationship in your life. And it's like this incredible deep longing. And there's this place of like, well, why can't I have that relationship? And I've been waiting for so long. And, I just know the perfect person is out there for me. Or maybe you don't know the perfect person. Maybe you believe that the perfect person doesn't even exist anymore. Now, what do we need to deal with in order to open up that? So we listen, we go to sound baths, or we have our own bowls, we meditate on that, we vision it, we imagine it, and then what we begin to see are all the ways we've been keeping that person at bay. We've been holding that energy back. We have to look at our emotions of perhaps unworthiness, that, we don't deserve that. Maybe we need to look at our anger. Maybe we need to look at the way we project stuff onto the other person. So that person of our dreams doesn't even have the room to come in and be with us because of all of those other things that are there. So, spirituality is not a quick fix. In development as a human, to really evolve and evolve in a continuous arc of ever more refined frequencies that allow us to become more loving, more kind, more generous, more attuned to the oneness of all things. That is a path of unfolding. And we are looking, when we are blessed, we get to look and see all the ways that we have chosen, and I use that word very carefully,
Yeah.
we have chosen in consciousness to walk the walk that we've walked, and then make new choices to become the person that we want to be. And so, are bowls an answer for manifesting that? They are a part of the equation.
Sure.
And they can be a significant part of the equation because, as I mentioned before, they're entraining us to these higher vibrational frequencies. So we get to experience the heart being open. We experience the new levels of communication from our soul. We experience inspiration that comes to us in a sound bath or from hearing sound that says, take this action step. Look at this. So maybe you'll be in a sound bath and you get this intuitive hit to go take that course over there that you've been avoiding taking, and now it's like, no, you need to do it. And by taking that course and that next step, it opens you, it helps you clear that place where you've been holding back, the finances, the prosperity from coming in, the emotion, the health. You see, so it becomes this beautiful complement to unfolding in all the ways we want to unfold. I use many different modalities of healing for my own self personally. And these are but one way.
I love that. Yes, there are many tools out there that help us in all, like, I think it's the healing, the unfolding, what we came here to do. But I love that you're introducing us to another modality, because I think it's so great to have as many tools as we can
Yes.
use in our, on our spiritual growth path. Because I know most of the people listening here are people who have gone through what they're calling spiritual awakening and unlearning old stories and learning new truths and trying to heal and find their path. And so this just is one more amazing tool that they can have at their fingertips to use to help in that process. And I love that. And so if there are people out there listening who want to hear your singing bowls, hear more of what you do, because you also sing with
Oh my God, yes.
play.
That was first and foremost for me. I mean, when I said I went to conservatory in New York City, I mean, I have a degree in vocal performance. So my approach to the singing bowls was always through vocal sound. And all of my albums, we crafted with my producer and I, we crafted this beautiful, exquisite, angelic sound that blends vocalization with the bowls and to just exquisite places. So we incorporate sacred chant and mantra and song and also ambient sound just of the bowls. So and now I can't wait to introduce the therapy harps because they're so beautiful. And when you put the two of them together, therapy harps and bowls, it's just like, oh my God, you really did go to heaven. I swear it. So yes, so the vocal sound, the sound of the alchemy bowls, which is so phenomenal. It's that merging of that crystalline angelic sound that only the bowls can create. I don't know of anything else that holds this specific frequency. So yes, if people want to hear this music, hear my music, you can find me on soundofashana.com. That's SOUND, soundofashana.com. I have a YouTube page with lots of videos and all the music streams there. I'm on Spotify, Pandora. We have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So you just go looking, type in ASHANA and crystal bowls, and you'll be in my world.
I love that. And we're going to have the links in the show notes too. So people don't have to go searching. They can just go right there and find you and spend less time doing the searching, doing the Googling, and more time listening to your beautiful music. I want to thank you so much for being here with us today, Ashana. This was such a wonderful conversation, and you're such a beautiful and lovely soul. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. It was such my pleasure. Blessings to you and to all of your listeners.
Thank you. And thank all of you for joining us today, too. Remember, if you want to see this interview and see all of the beautiful singing bowls that Ashana has, and her beautiful face, I might add, you can go and join us on Patreon. You can sign up today and join a 7-day free trial. And if you don't like it, you can cancel anytime. There's no obligation. You'll never be charged if you cancel. But you can see this beautiful interview, and I would love to have you over there. We do a live card reading each week, which is always really fun, and it's just a beautiful and supportive community of amazing people. So I would love to have you over there. That will also be in the show notes if you want to click on the link to join the free trial. I hope that wherever you are today, you have a beautiful day. I am sending you guys so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.